Mm. What is a question you've been dying for me to ask you, and why?
That's a very interesting question. What is a question I've been dying for you to ask me?
Next question.
No. I like this question. I want to answer it appropriately.
Let me make sure I read that right. What is a question you've been dying for me to ask you, and why?
No, I get it.
I honestly don't even know how I would answer this question.
We talked about this actually this week, and I'm wondering if it's gonna bring any memories back to you, but we'll see.
Okay.
It's not about a dying thing, but let's take out the dying. I'm just gonna say
No, the dying's in the question.
Hush.
Okay.
A question I would like for you to ask me is, how can you be a better spouse? Do you remember us talking about this?
Yeah.
So I'll answer the why.
Mm-hmm.
I told you this from the beginning when I first met you. I said I'm just gonna court you for the rest of my life.
Shit like that.
Period. I try not to get comfortable. I know I do. But when I even feel myself get comfortable, I correct, I adjust, and I come to you. And I'm always going to ask you, what are things that I can do to be a better spouse to you? I recently just told you, I said, I feel like I always bring this conversation up to you. I feel like it's not something that you bring up to me. Not to say that you're not thinking about it, not to say that you don't feel this way.
Do I not bring it up often enough? Have I never asked that question, or do I not ask it enough?
I feel like you don't ask it enough.
Okay.
It's not that you've never asked it. I feel like once we get to talking, then you will ask that. But I feel like my specific thing right now is the initiative. I feel like I initiate that particular conversation. And the importance to me, guys, of that is the way we stay connected, right? It's so easy to get comfortable. We're, 8 years in?
Yeah.
And that sounds crazy to even say out loud. But being in a relationship for so long and how we are as a unit, it's so easy to get comfortable. And that's one thing I fear. I know there's, 8 women to 2 men? Is that right?
It's a larger ratio for sure.
So for me, I always know, not to say that you give any type of feeling that you're going to walk out on me, but I'm aware that there's always something that can look better than me, treat you better than me in those moments of my lack. So for me, I'm always in my brain about how can I not lack for my spouse? You never really tell me I'm lacking. That's the beauty of this whole conversation, which I love. This is something I personally think about because this is always on my brain.
So I be lacking.
Really, nigga?
Didn't say that.
Just playing.
It's more of I'm overly aware and making sure that you don't feel this way.
Shit like that.
I need to do the same.
Absolutely. This is how we're going to stay connected and into each other for the rest of our lives. If we court and date each other for the rest of our lives, again, I don't have the recipe for a lifelong relationship, but to me in my brain, everybody can say right now, everybody loves the feeling of when they first start something, right?
Right.
It's like
the honeymoon phase.
Exactly. And it's just ooh, this is new, this is great. And once you get it and you're in it, it's like, okay, I can fall back, I can sit back, I ain't gotta do all that. I got a court, no, that's exactly what happens. And then now you either this person's unhappy, this person's unhappy, now they going out, now they looking for something outside of you. And it just becomes a routine. And to me, the routine I want to set is the same routine I set starting to date you in the beginning.
How do we stay in that honeymoon phase forever?
Forever.
Shit like that.
And again, we're human, so it's not going to be a perfect dynamic.
Theoretically,
Exactly. No, that's 100%.
Yeah.
We're not going to stay in that dynamic all the time. We're human. But when I have that moment of hey, girl, MIG, get it together.
Okay.
Step it up. So for me, the check-in is extremely important. And I feel like I would just like you to ask that question to
More
check
often.
in with me initially, not just me bringing it up and now we're talking about it, but your perspective of feeling hey, you know what? Am I on my game? Is there anything I need to improve on, or am I A1?
I received that.
That's the best way I can answer that question.
I
I'm sorry if it
received that.
seemed long, but
Nah, this is the game.
yeah.
This is
So,
the game.
did we not talk about that recently?
We have. We have.
That was on Tuesday.
That's why I
something.
want to clarify. Do you think this is something that I've never asked, or this is something that I need to ask more often? And you said it. I need to ask it more often, and I totally received that. I have no rebuttals. I have no pushback.
Shit like that.
I hear you clearly.
I appreciate
I received that.
I appreciate that.